Here, switch me spots.
Okay. Well, because I'm not going to be doing anything.
No, because you're not as tall as me, Sissy. Watch when I stand where you're at. Watch. Cuts off my head.
Oh.
All right. So we're live. So what do we say? Hey. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna stand back over here though, okay? All right. So today's Thursday, right? Now, I know that we have run the course for our craft along TV days, but I did want to tell you guys, we are going to continue, aren't we? We're going to continue at least every Tuesday and Thursday doing our project videos because I think those are really fun. And I really like that you guys enjoy them enough to join me and, hopefully we can offer some inspiration, huh? We like to be inspired. Yes. Here, don't lean on this, please. Okay. So what we're playing with today is this gorgeous pattern. Now, this pattern was not in your box, okay? But it is really, really pretty. Well, I guess it was in your box. This is the same pattern you got for the nameplate, but it wasn't in your box as Leatherette. All right, what we're going to do for a certain somebody, hint, hint, is we are going to make one of these. Now, if you guys joined us for the Craft Chameleon virtual open house this past Saturday, you did see this, but hey, there's nothing wrong with watching it again. And then we are going to do a notebook. All right, so this is the one from the box. So that's the actual patterns. These are the patterns you got in the box this month, which is the crayon confetti and the school rocks, okay? We'll take a look at those up close too, because I really like them a lot. But this one is called Crayon Rainbows, Crayon Rainbows, or Rainbow Crayons, or something like that. I'd have to double check, but their name's sounding really cool, so.
I have a feeling it would be rainbow crayons.
You think it would be rainbow crayons? I kept calling them chunky crayons, but then we decided maybe that was not polite to call them chunky. So anyway, now don't forget, I use this repositionable spray, right? Use this every single time that I cut leatherette. I'm not saying that it's necessary, but that's what works good for me. And this is my trusty old mat that I've been spraying repeatedly. This is actually the original mat that came with my Cricut Maker, so I'm just throwing that out there. All right, and then we have, this is a little little prize pack you got in your box. It comes with your ink pen, your super glue, and your zipper. All right, so just a standard red zipper, red ink pen. There we go. Gel super glue. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to dun dun dun. Oh, wrong button. Put this guy here. Pull it over. Okay. There we go. So here's the super glue. That's what I want to show you. It's gel super glue. And we had a really, really good time with it. Good luck with it. This is a brand new tube. I actually used all of my other tube. So can you guys hear me today? Hopefully this isn't a repeat of what I did on Tuesday. I think you guys can hear me. I think we're good. So, okay, I told you I'd show you these up close. That's the confetti crayon, and this is the school rocks. So if you didn't get the box, number one, you can still get the box. And then number two, these patterns are available from Craft Chameleon. So super, super excited. Now what I'm gonna do, oh, and here's this one. So you can see it up close. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and spray my mat. All right. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. And I'm putting it pattern side down. Okay. Now, if you do not have repositionable spray, let's talk about what you can do. number one, if you have a really sticky mat, that's a good place to start. You want to get like your stickiest mat. And then number two, if you have maybe some double-sided tape, some people talk about using double-sided tape with it. Before I found the repositionable adhesive, I would use painter's tape or masking tape, and I would tape my edges in place. So there's a couple things that you can do with that. Now, as for cut settings, you basically, whether you're on a Silhouette or you're on a Cricut, you want to cut as deep or as thick as your machine will go, basically. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Silhouette Studio, you're going to cut with a blade of 10 and a thickness of 33. And in Cricut Design Space, I actually set up a custom setting. So if you guys know how to do that, basically I just slid the bar on the custom setting all the way up as high as it would go to 350. And then I changed the pressure to more. So let me go ahead and cut this. I do also think that when you cut, here, I'll talk to you guys face to face. I do also think that when you cut thicker materials like leatherette, I think it dulls your blade down faster. So, don't be overly concerned if you feel like your blade is wearing out, because I just think that's what happens. So, while we wait for that to cut, what I'm doing is I'm cutting the, trying to show you the camera. I'm cutting this one first, okay? And then we will turn around and I'll go ahead and cut this one, and it can be cutting while we assemble this one. So we're getting a 2 for today. 2 projects today. Super exciting. Now, of course, I love leatherette, so make sure you keep all your spare pieces. Not that we have a lot of them, we sure don't, but your spare pieces, you can always make like some matching earrings and stuff like that. Always makes cute gifts, especially if you're going back to school soon. All right, so let's go ahead and there we go. So I just want you to see how good of a cut I got. Like that's literally all I have to do. It cuts amazingly. I love it. I love it. All right, there we go. So now because my mat is so sticky, I do want to be careful pulling it off. So I'll start it at the edges. There we go. All right, so this is one. Now let me go ahead and spray again. I did order a new mat, so I might soon work my way back to a regular green mat. So my mat did not start off this way. Let me just say that up front. So the way that I ended up with this leatherette only mask is that I wore off all my sticky. So usually throughout the lifespan of a mat, you have a super sticky mat that is able to cut this kind of stuff or whatever, but you want to stay away from cardstock and stuff. So the way that I do it is like I'll use it for my super sticky stuff, and then I'll use it for cardstock for a little while, and then when it's almost not sticky at all, that's usually the point where I would throw it away or something like that. But so now what I've done is when it gets to the end of its lifespan, it's not sticky anymore, I break out that repositionable spray and use it for the adhesive or the leatherette. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut. I know you guys can't see me. I'm going to go ahead and cut, I think it's 8.625 for my, oh, so let's talk about that. If you're cutting with a Cricut, and this is going to be in the tutorial as well, but this is sized to 9.5 inches wide. So that's what you need to do is when you pull in the file, size it to 9.5 inches wide. Okay, and then this one is going to be sized to 8.625 inches wide. All right, so hit continue. All right, load that in there. Let's get these ready in the meantime. So what you need if you're crafting along with me, you need your, oh, that's a little bit of that paper. Anyway, you need your leatherette, your super glue, and your zipper. There we go, custom leatherette. All right, so I said that, so we don't have to wait on that going forward. So let's see if I can get you guys. I really want you to be like as close as possible. There we go. Okay, so let's see where we get on that. Basically, what I want you to envision for this is that we are going to fold in these sides, okay, and then we're going to wrap this part around to hold it all together. So you can see that's what we did. We rolled and tucked the sides in this one, right? Glued them into place, and then we inserted our zipper and glued the whole thing together. So first things first, what I did was I went ahead and I creased it. Now this is pretty similar to what you would do for a paper project too. Like if you were doing like a 3D project. And this just makes it easier to roll it together. All right, so do the same thing for these. And repeat that on each side. And all it does is it gives, just gives it some structure so that when I go to fold this in the future, it'll kind of have that crease as a little bit of a guideline. And we're not going to do that with this part. We just want to do that with the ends. Okay, so let's go ahead and break out our super glue. I'm going to switch my computer back so I can see what you guys are seeing. There we go. Break out my super glue. Now, I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm assuming that you guys don't have any questions yet, which is fine. Just make sure that if you have any questions that you ask. All right, so I'm going to take off the lid, not that lid. I'm going to take off the lid to the super glue, and I'm going to remove this green piece here. Okay, and then when I screw the lid back on, it's going to break the seal to my super glue. So then when I just want to squeeze a little bit, also, I'm going to put the cap on that for just a minute. Make sure that you keep something handy like this guy, okay? Because you need somewhere to set your super glue when you're not using it so that you don't end up with super glue all over the place. Just ask me how I learned about that the hard way. All right, so see, it's already leaking out over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in first, and then this part. Let's see if you guys can see that. Let's see. This one's going to fold down, and this part, when we roll it in, we'll fold on top of it. So what that means is you want to kind of square those off to each other. Now, it looks weird now, okay? See what I'm doing here? This one folds in. This one's going to fold down. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that gel super glue. Okay, and I'm going to repeat the process over here. Now you don't need a whole lot of super glue. It don't take much. Now, let me also say this. I have not like turned this loose with a kid to test the durability of the glue. I did do some testing, obviously, before I sent it out in the boxes, but we all know that kids are a little harder on things than we are. So now are you seeing how that's gonna, so then what we'll do is we'll glue this piece and you'll end up with that little corner. All right, so let's repeat it on this side. So we'll fold this in, put some super glue here, and then fold it down. Okay, so I almost get like this little angle right here. Okay, same thing. Fold this in, put some super glue right there. Fold it down. Try not to super glue your fingers together. Or on Saturday, better yet, I super glued, I think I super glued my finger to the leatherette. So we like to play these fun games when we play with super glue. So I did think about using E6000, but doesn't it take a long time to dry? So that's what I liked about the super glue was that it was also quick to dry. So let me know your thoughts on that because I am not a professional with E6000 by any means. All right, so what I'm going to do, now that I have these, see these corner pieces I have, that's where I'm going to put my super glue. And then instead of trying to bring the side up in place, I'm going to put that where it belongs and then roll this part down. It probably seems a little backwards, but it worked really well for me. It was easier for me to line it up that way. Okay, so do the same thing here. Oh, no, ended up with super glue on my hand. I'm not good at this game. Okay, there we go. Oh, they have an E6000 spray? Well, that would definitely be interesting. Now I have to add that to my list of things to try. Well, thanks for telling me that. I had no idea. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it over here. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides at once. Since I've already got super glue in my hand, what do you really have to lose? Other than some more fingerprints. Someone did point out on Saturday that the FBI would have a hard time tracking me down, so it's always a silver lining to crafting. All right, so I think that's enough. We're going to let it hold for just a minute while we work on and talk about our zipper. All right, and I'm going to show all the comments. All right. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I literally, you can't really see it anymore because I've also messed up this finger, but I didn't have fingerprints for a long time. We used super glue in the box last month too. So, okay, all right. So you can see this is kind of coming together a little bit, right? It's going to fold together. Now it's time for us to insert our zipper. So what I did, and hopefully you guys can see this, is I flipped my zipper in the down position, and I went ahead and I wanted my zipper basically to butt up all the way against this part of the leatherette. Okay, and then I just brought it down the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my super glue, but I'm just going to apply my super glue as close as I can to the edge of this so that I don't end up with my leatherette glued together on the inside. Now, I want to say that I also did this experiment with hot glue. And the hot glue did not work as well because it was so hot. I couldn't, I mean, now if I had been a little smarter, I would have broke out my low temp gun and maybe that would have been doable. But then I also felt like I was getting hot glue everywhere. Like every time I pinched the leatherette, and because I have natural fingernails, I was in the habit of using my fingernails to hold things closed, and I ended up with fingernail indentions all over my leatherette. So wasn't very happy about that either. All right. So now we have one side that's glued down, and I want to go ahead and make sure I tuck in the rest of that zipper. Now, I'm not very experienced with zippers. From what I understand, you could also trim a zipper. Not my strong suit, so I'm just going to tuck it in until somebody smarter than I wants to experiment with that. All right, so same thing. I'm applying just a strip of super glue all the way down, and I'm going to do the same process here. Just try to make sure that you don't overlap the zipper too much. I know I got off track and you can't see, but I don't really want to glue this into a place where it's going to inhibit the movement of the zipper. And then before everything really solidifies into place, just test it out. Okay, now you can leave that unzipped for a minute, and you want to go through and make sure that your sides are glued down also, because those get ignored sometimes. And the good news is you don't really have to worry about squishing your leatherette because it really bounces back with a purpose. Okay. I'm going to do that on all four so you don't end up, no good having a pencil pouch if your pencils can fall out, you know? So I'm actually pretty sad. I found out today that our school board is laying off quite a few of our local teachers. So hopefully you guys aren't experiencing that where you're at. Just made me think of it, working on these back to school projects. All right. Can you sew leatherette? Yes. So actually, if you want to check out Craft Chameleon, they also have a lot of like in the hoop embroidery type items that you can what am I trying to say? Oh, I didn't know I clicked on that. Sorry. That you can use with your embroidery machine, and a lot of people also use it with their sewing. So yes, if you want something sturdier than super glue, I don't blame you for it. It can be done, just not by me. All right, so once it's all said and done, you just really want to check everything over, you know, kind of give it like some little squish tests and make sure that all your super glue adhere properly and that you don't have any gaping holes. All right, so these are my two that I've made. Of course, obviously I'm a big fan. I love them. And I'm surprised that took almost my whole my whole tube of super glue. So if this is something where you're going out to buy super glue on your own to make these projects, get a bigger tube. This one is 0.07 or 2 grams. That one got us through our project, but I definitely wouldn't risk it trying to squeeze out more than one project. So also, just in case you were wondering, the average pencil, I read online, the average pencil is 7.5 inches wide. This pen is just under 6 inches, but it fits really good. And this whole thing is just under 8 inches. So you shouldn't have any problem fitting your school tools and that sort of thing. Or even if you're not using them for school, you can put your crafting tools in here, that sort of thing. Somebody's talked about tissues and whatever. So, you know, we keep calling these pencil pouches, but they really can do a whole lot. So, oh, your glasses? You're right, Tina. That was a very good idea. I didn't even think about glasses. You can even make it a little smaller depending on how big your glasses are. So, all right. Well, I love it. Now, I'm going to leave these here, but I'm happy to tell you. Oh, let me plug my hot glue gun in. Oh. Okay, so that's going to be heating up. It'll take just a minute. It heats up pretty fast. Okay, but this hard part is already done. This is already cut. This is going to be for our notebook. And once again, it peels really, really well. Really like Leatherette, if you haven't noticed. I'm a big fan. And for those of you who haven't seen already, we announced a promotion giveaway type deal with our new, you know, we're doing the Vinyl Me Crazy box. That's going to include pattern Leatherette, pattern vinyl, pattern HTV. And we're doing a new promotion with that, but you have to go to the group to check it out. It's basically 5 days worth of giveaways. For the lucky winner, I guess there's going to be 5 individual winners. That's what I'm looking at. So 5 individual winners. All right, so this is what you have for your notebook. Okay, 2 pieces again. Well, not again, but instead of a zipper, you have a little tie. And then we have the actual notebook. Now, this notebook is sized, in case you didn't get the box, this notebook is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Also, if you didn't get the box, shame on you, because this is a really great box. Really great box this time. I mean, they're all great, but this one's super great. All right, so I'm going to take, and what I want to do, remember, this is going to wrap around. So you just need to decide which is your front and which is your back. This is not a lined notebook, so it doesn't really matter. But sometimes, depending on how it's put together, you might feel like one's the front and one's the back. So I'm going to take, and I'm just going to put some super glue, or not super glue, I'm stuck on super glue. I'm going to put some hot glue right along the back edge here. I'm calling it the back, but it's really the short end, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then I'm going to open my book up, align it. There we go. Oh no, my hot glue isn't hot enough. Well, let's peel it off, I guess. We will try again. I guess my hot glue was hot enough to come out of the gun, but not cooled off before I put my. All right. Take 2. Down, put it down. Here. All right. Okay, all right. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! So that side is done, and you're going to be amazed at how easy this is. You're literally going to the same exact thing on the front. But this one's even easier because you don't even have to line it up. You're just going to pull it and wrap it around your notebook. Okay, there we go. Nope. Okay, so this is our covered notebook, right? Now, if you wanted to apply more glue, you can. These notebooks obviously are relatively inexpensive to play around with and experiment with, and so you can obviously have several notebooks. But when you open it up, you just want to make sure that you have that little bit of give. You don't want to really glue it, try to glue it down 100%. All right, does that make sense? Like, you know, when you have a sleeve on a hard book, really, I mean, I guess paperbacks could have sleeves, but a hardcover, a hardback book will have the sleeve, and you open them up and they need that give in the back. Okay, all right, I hope I'm making sense. I feel like I'm rambling. All right, so here, this is our loop, okay? And what you want to do is you're going to take the loop, push it a little bit, and line it up with these slices here. Okay. Let me see if I can get you guys a little closer. Can I get you any closer? Oh, there we go. All right. So we have the loop. Yes, you totally can. And you have, sorry, I answered reading. You have about this much left over. So definitely enough room for a pair of earrings. All right, back to the project. Here's our slices. That's what you want to call it, our slices. You want to line this up, and you're going to go over this part, but underneath this part. All right, so it's going to make like a little loop-de-loop. So over, and this is difficult the first couple times. You see how I went under? And when I come back out the other side. Okay, but the leatherette has a natural give to it. All right, so the more we play with this, the more that it's going to loosen up on us. Okay, and that is what we want. This file was designed to have that in consideration. All right, now you're gonna ask me, Becky, what in the world do we do with this? Well, we wrap this around this side. All right, so now we just take a little bit more of our hot glue. Okay, glue that down. Okay, and then, oops, I pulled the cap off, that's not what I wanted. And this would even be pretty in like contrasting or complementary colors. Like you don't have to restrict yourself to using the same color on both of these. I think it would be pretty neat if I had a different color band here. All right, so let me put that back on. So this is how it goes. It is attached. All right, so then I will just pull the loop around. Like I said, you got to remember it's going to develop a little bit of give. I will be able to pull it up, slide my pen in, and now that is my notebook. So hopefully you guys like it as much as I do. Obviously, the notebook isn't considered like the #1 project, but it is probably my favorite project in this box because I have done it 3 separate times already. I love these little notebooks, and I plan to have a notebook in every color, every pattern, and I can just carry them around. And one could be a sketchbook for Madison, and one could be a notebook for me. One could be a to-do list for things I don't want to do. But there we go. And now for today's video, we have a matching pencil case and notebook because I happen to have 2 sheets of the same color. But for your box, we sent the school rocks, and the crayon confetti. So very, very awesome patterns and colors going on here. And I am absolutely in love with them. All right, I'm gonna switch back over. You have to look at me now. We're back. So I'll move that out of the way. So what did you guys think? Okay, now obviously I think that they're really awesome and really easy. So what time is it? Let's see. 4:34. And not only have you had to listen to me for 34 minutes, but I knocked out both of these projects complete from sizing in the software, cutting on my machine, getting the glue ready, even had to wait for my hot glue gun to pull up, to warm up. So, definitely very, very easy projects for your box. And hopefully you will knock them out in no time, because if I can knock them out, you can knock them out. Trust me, these are not complicated. They're not overly complicated projects. So, of course, if you have any questions, make sure you put the questions in the comments or come tag me in the group. Everybody should have their boxes already. So, we can go ahead and start talking about, all of our projects and that sort of thing. So, I love all the Leatherette. So, that's all I got for you today, but I appreciate you following along. And I just want to say, in case you did not know, your other box projects are, this nameplate. Okay, this is where that other pattern was included. It's a pattern nameplate, so that's exciting. And the the clipboard, which I'm gonna have to pick this back up with you guys next week. My ink comes tomorrow, so tomorrow we'll finish the clipboard. And then what else? Oh, the apple. That was the other piece. So with that really cool monogram font that fits the the acrylic. The monogram is in the shape of the apple so that it easily fits on the acrylic. So that's our 5 projects: the notebook, the pencil pouch, the clipboard, the apple bag tag, and the awesome pattern nameplate. So lots of goodies from Craft Chameleon this month, and I really like them. So okay, I know just a little guy to make this for. These will make awesome back to school gifts, and although I really love them, my daughter really loved them too, and these would also be great for teachers or other even administrative staff, or the sky's the limit. We associate these with back to school, but I think most women naturally love notebooks and ways to organize our goodies. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna go, but thanks for joining me today, and hey, I will see you again next Monday for our Cricut tutorial. So, all right, guys, see you later. Bye.